If there's one place in golf where tiny errors become total nightmares, it's got to be on the green.
Oh, absolutely. It really is a game within the game.
And most golfers, they spend hours worrying about their swing path, their tempo.
They really do. But we're talking about putting here. We're being just, say, zero point 0.1 degrees offline. Well, that could be the difference between making a 7-footer and staring down a 3-putt.
It's that directional alignment, isn't it? Often ignored, but completely decisive.
Utterly decisive, yeah.
And that's exactly why today we're doing a deep dive into the Puttalyze Aiming System. Now, this isn't your typical feel-based approach. This is structured, it's science-based, it merges biomechanics, visual psychology, even physics.
Right. The whole goal is consistent alignment.
The promise here is pretty big.
Yeah.
Basically, remove the guesswork, make sure the ball starts on the right line with the right speed every time.
And what's really interesting about Puttalyze, I think, is how it shifts alignment from being subjective, just eyeballing it, to something objective. Repeatable steps based on how our bodies, our vision, actually work.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we even begin with this system? What's step one?
It starts before you even think about the putter. It's what they call the foundational assessment. A visual calibration, really.
Okay.
You have to stand directly behind the ball. And I mean directly behind it, perfectly aligned with the ball-to-hole line.
I feel like most people think they stand behind the ball, but you're saying there's a very specific scientific reason for this exact positioning.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does two crucial things. First, it's really the only viewpoint where you can properly judge the slope, uphill, downhill, side slope, whatever it is.
Makes sense.
But second, and maybe even more important, it aligns your visual perspective with gravity. That's key to forming an accurate mental picture of how the ball is actually going to roll.
So we're looking for the fall line. Can you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, imagine pouring water on the green right beside your ball.
Okay.
The path that water takes down the slope, that's your fall line. It's dictated purely by gravity, and that determines the true break of the putt.
Okay.
If you're even a little bit off angle when you first look, your brain gets bad data. And then every decision after that, well, it's based on a flawed perception.
So it's like setting your GPS coordinates wrong at the start. The whole journey is off.
Exactly. If that initial objective look at the break is wrong, the rest of the alignment process doesn't really matter.
Non-negotiable first step, then. Build on solid observation, not just a feeling about the line.
Precisely. Get the facts first.
All right, so we've stood behind the ball, we've assessed the slope, found that fall line, we know the general path, but where exactly do we aim?
This brings us to that rather specific measurement, the 25-centimeter rule.
Yes, this is where we anchor the aim point. Once you've identified that fall line, the system says you need to pick out a specific spot, an aim point, exactly 25 centimeters, that's about 10 inches, right out in front of the ball. Okay.
And critically, it has to be directly on that fall line you just identified.
25 centimeters. Honestly, that sounds really close. Doesn't focusing on something that near make you kind of lose sight of the hole, like you get tunnel vision?
That's a fair question, and it actually points right to the biology behind it.
Oh.
The reason for 25 centimeters isn't arbitrary at all. It's based on the limits of our binocular vision, where both eyes work together effectively.
Okay.
That area where you have really sharp, clear focus, it has a functional diameter of roughly 50 centimeters.
Okay. I think I see where this is going. So if I pick an aim point, say a meter away?
Right. It falls outside that high-resolution zone. Your targeting becomes less precise, relies more on peripheral, blurrier vision.
So 25 centimeters is sort of the sweet spot, close enough to be super sharp, but far enough that you can still see the ball and putter.
Exactly. It sits right near the edge of that optimal sharp focus zone. You can precisely target that 25-centimeter spot without it being blurry, and you still have the ball and putter head clearly in view. It leverages your natural visual strengths.
That's fascinating. Science really dictating the technique there. Okay, so we have our objective aim point, but how do we make sure we are actually lined up to it correctly? I know parallax error is a huge problem for golfers.
Oh, it's massive. It's that feeling where you were aimed right, but your dominant eye was maybe just slightly off the true line, tricking your brain.
Yeah, happens all the time.
So Puttalyze has a specific way to combat this, using binocular vision, just one eye.
Right, the VQ. It sounds simple, almost too simple. How does that work? Turning your face into a sight.
It is simple, but effective. So if you're a right-handed golfer, you close your left eye.
Okay.
Now, the crucial part is keeping your head level with the ground. No tilting. Then you rotate your head horizontally, side to side. Think of it like turning an apple on a stick. Pure rotation.
Got it. Level head, rotate horizontally.
As you do that, Pay attention to the little V shape that forms naturally between the bridge of your nose and your eyebrow on the side of your open eye.
Okay, I can picture that V.
That V becomes your personal biological sight. By closing one eye, you eliminate the slightly different images coming from each eye. That's what causes parallax confusion when trying to line up something flat, like a putter face, to a line.
So it simplifies the visual input, gives the brain one clean line.
Exactly. It cuts out the special noise. You use that V, like the sight on a rifle, to confirm that your dominant eye is looking directly down the line towards that 25-centimeter aim point.
Wow. So you're using your own face structure as a repeatable check. It takes alignment from being an art or a guess to, well, almost engineering.
That's the idea. Repeatability.
Yeah.
Something reliable you can trust, especially under pressure when field can get shaky. You're using the same physical check every single time.
Okay, this is making sense. We've analyzed the slope, got the aim point, verified our alignment with the V-check. Now, the mechanics. Putting the putter down. The order matters here, right?
Critically important. The system mandates that you place the putter face down first. And it needs to be perfectly square, that's 90 degrees to the line that connects the ball and your 25-centimeter aim point.
Face first, before you even take your stance.
Yes. Face alignment first, then build your stance around it.
And the reason for this huge emphasis on the face angle comes down to that pretty staggering statistic, doesn't it?
It really does. The putter face angle at the moment of impact determines up to 92% of the ball's starting direction.
92%. That just blows my mind every time I hear it.
It explains why so much traditional practice might be, well, slightly missing the point. Golfers grind over the perfect stroke path inside out, straight back, straight through. But if that face isn't square at impact...
You're fighting a losing battle.
Absolutely. Being off by just half a degree, which is tiny, will cause you to miss putts from surprisingly short distances, like 6 or 7 feet.
So focusing on squaring that face to the initial target line, that 25-centimeter spot, is paramount. It deals with the biggest variable right away.
Minimize the biggest potential error source first. That's the logic.
And there was a little tip in the source material for consistency in setting the putter down.
Yeah, a simple one, but helpful. Place the leading edge of the putter about 1 finger width behind the ball. It just gives you a consistent reference point for ball position relative to the putter face, putt after putt.
Okay, good tip. Now let's get into something that I think really distinguishes this system. The separation of the aim point and the distance point. People often confuse these.
They do, and it causes a lot of problems. They sound similar, but they manage completely different aspects of the putt.
Explain that difference for us.
Okay, so the aim point, that 25-centimeter spot we've been talking about, that is purely about direction. It's where you are physically aiming the putter face to ensure the ball starts rolling on the correct break line.
Directionally. Got it.
The distance point, on the other hand, is all about speed or pace. It's an imaginary spot that represents where you want the ball to finish if it happens to miss the hole. It dictates the energy, the force you need to apply with your stroke.
Ah, okay. So you aim at one spot, but you hit the ball with the energy needed to reach a different spot?
Precisely. By mentally separating those two jobs, aiming and pacing, you allow your brain to focus on each one more effectively. You aim the putter at the aim point. You execute the stroke with the force needed to get the ball to the distance point.
How does the slope of the green affect where that distance point should be?
It's intuitive, really. For an uphill putt, you need more energy, right? So your distance point needs to be significantly past the hole, maybe a meter or so past, depending on the slope, to make sure the ball gets there with authority.
Right, don't leave it short.
Exactly. For downhill putts, it's the opposite. You need much less force. So the distance point might be just inches past the hole, or on really slick greens, maybe even slightly short of the hole, letting gravity do the work.
And flat putts.
The general guideline is about 30 centimeters, or roughly a foot, past the hole. That gives it enough energy to hold its line and resist dying off at the end.
That separation makes so much sense. It lets you train aim and speed almost independently.
It brings structure to what's often a jumbled feeling of hit it kind of here-ish with kind of this much speed.
Speaking of training, the system is very insistent on how you should practice. It says always practice along the fall line. Why is practicing on dead flat lies potentially harmful?
Well, think about it. How often on a real golf course do you get a perfectly straight flat putt?
Almost never.
Right. So if you spend all your practice time on a flat surface, you're building muscle memory and visual trust for conditions that just don't exist out there.
And then it falls apart on a slope.
Instantly. The ball starts breaking in ways your flat lie practice never prepared you for. Your mechanics might be grooved, but they're grooved for the wrong environment.
So practice needs to reflect reality. It has to anchor your technique, your visual system, your speed control to how the ball actually behaves under gravity on a slope.
Exactly. You have to practice the physics you'll encounter on the course. Train for the real thing.
Okay, let's pull this all together. Let's recap the full Puttalyze routine, the 7 steps for you, the listener, to build that consistent, pressure-proof stroke.
Okay, step 1. Get directly behind the ball, assess that slope accurately, and find the fall line. That's your roadmap.
Step 2. Identify your aim point. That's the 25-centimeter spot placed precisely on the fall line. Biology helps here.
Step 3. Put the putter face down first, squaring it perfectly, 90 degrees, to the line connecting the ball and that aim point.
Step 4. Use that finger width guide. Position the putter consistently behind the ball for a reliable setup.
Step 5. Time for the binocular check. Close your non-dominant eye, left eye for right-handers.
Step 6. Keep your head level. Rotate it horizontally like that apple on a stick, and use the natural V between your nose and eyebrow to verify your alignment with the 25-centimeter aim point, body confirming the line.
And finally, step 7. Trust your preparation. Execute the strokes smoothly, focusing on delivering the energy needed to reach your calculated distance point.
And for those who like visual aids, there's the Puttalyze app mentioned, which actually simulates the trajectory and shows you those aim and distance points graphically. Seems like a great training tool.
Yeah, it helps bridge that gap between understanding the physics conceptually and actually training your eye and your feel to match it. You see the line, you see the points, you groove the stroke.
So when you put it all together, what Puttalyze really offers the average golfer is, well, it's a blueprint, isn't it? Replacing guesswork and shaky feel with solid geometry and repeatable steps.
It takes arguably the most mentally fragile part of putting the aiming and makes it robust, something you can rely on.
It builds that visual confidence, that mechanical certainty that hopefully holds up when the pressure is on.
Because when you're stressed, your brain defaults to habit, to muscle memory. This system tries to ensure that muscle memory is grounded in objective reality, not just vague feelings.
Okay, final thought for you listening. We know that putter face angle dictates 92% of the start line. So how might relying purely on feel or rushing your setup under pressure actually be working against your own biology compared to a structured, verified routine like this one?
Yeah, it's something to really consider. And maybe ask yourself next time you practice, do you focus more on direction or speed right now? And what could happen if you consciously separated that aim point from the distance point? Could that simple mental shift clean up those misses and maybe shave a couple of easy strokes off your score? Food for thought.